You're watching Inside the Zone.
Hey, welcome to this week's edition of Inside the Zone. Justin Kinney of Optimum Performance Sports, Glenn Marini here from Wayne TV, and we are on to regionals.
That we are.
You better get your walking shoes ready this week because very few teams will be playing here in Northeast Indiana. A lot of road trips out there for the 6 teams that we've got left in our area.
We do, and as you mentioned before we started the broadcast, okay, so if you win this week, we should have several home games next week, provided our area teams can get through.
Like that would make sense, but we all know it doesn't always
Not
make
all
sense.
the time.
Logic does not need apply,
No.
especially on Inside the Zone.
Absolutely.
I want to start off with, we're going to preview every single game. 6 games, 6 classifications. Well, no, I guess we don't have 5A. 6 games.
5 classifications.
5 classifications. Let's start off with 2A because our game of the week is going to be Eastbrook versus Adams Central. I think when you looked at 2A throughout the course of the season, these are kind of where the teams you thought you would have playing in this one. How do you see this one playing out? Because Eastbrook does come in undefeated, and we've seen what Eastbrook can do with multiple trips to the state in years past.
Coach Jeff Adamson has done a tremendous job over the years, over the decades at Eastbrook, and this is one of those best teams that he has had going undefeated through the first 13 games of the season. It's very much strength on strength, right? Because Eastbrook, we know exactly what Eastbrook likes to do. They like to run the ball down your throat. They like to control the ball. They like to dominate the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what Adams Central likes to do as well. And they elevate it and go deep and downfield when they need to. So it is very much a difficult challenge for Adams Central. Some of those 1A years, you know, where you looked at it and with each successive round, you're like, well, this team can't match up with Adams Central. This team can't match up with Adams Central. I don't think that's the case this year. Eastbrook is every bit as good as its 13-0 record indicates.
The thing is, I saw Eastbrook in week 2 against Concordia, right, on the road. We saw them, they took on Huntington North in week 1. Obviously, Huntington North was coming off a great season, won that one. And then you take a look at the Concordia game. I can't remember if I said it on this show or on our show late Sunday or Saturday night. When you take a look at this Eastbrook team, you think of maybe like just squatty dudes that run the football, but like this team isn't just like some nice country school. Like they've got some big guys. Like in that Concordia game, if you looked across one sideline and the other and told me which team was the SAC team, I would have picked Eastbrook. Like their quarterback 6'1", about 180, 190 pounds, Bodie Howell, and he can get the job done. Like they've got some dudes, some physical dudes on this team, and Jeff Adamson definitely knows how to use those kind of guys.
He does, and we've said it multiple times this season already when we talk about matching up with Adams Central, and you need to be able to hold the point of attack at the very least. If you can't match up front, it doesn't matter who your skill dudes are, and we've said that about teams in the ACAC this year and teams in the postseason trying to match up with Adams Central. Is Eastbrook that team that can go toe-to-toe up front in the trenches with the Flying Jets?
What impressed you about the game last week against Eastside? Because I thought Eastside might give them a game at least for a half, but it was 32-0 early in the third quarter. I know that the score ended up being 53-32, and you think, oh, Adams Central didn't have a great night defensively, but pretty much all those points came when, second stringers were in and the game had been decided by midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, we talked about if you're going to hang with Adams Central, you can't make many mistakes, and we saw Eastside make a mistake with the fumble that was returned for a touchdown that opened the scoring.
I saw that and I was like, oh, boy, it's going to be a long night.
It's going to be a long night. And then you had a pick 6 returned also later in the game in the fourth quarter, so 2 defensive touchdowns for Adams Central. But that's the thing, is you have to play a near perfect game to have a shot against the Flying Jets. And what we saw Adams Central do last week, it's become boring because we expect it, right? And that's not fair to Adams Central, but that's kind of where we're at with AC, is every week, regardless of the opponent, it's just like, 40 points here, 50 points here, 300 some yards rushing, holding a team down that's averaging 35 points a game. Like it's commonplace now, and it goes to the testament to Coach Mosier and that crew, is making the unnatural look natural.
I was going to say, we know what both of these teams want to do, as we talked about. Both love to run the football. So how key is that up-front battle this week? And is that something that, like, we don't say it a lot in 2A, I guess, as much as maybe some of the other classes, but this is going to be like strength on strength, line on line, offense defensive line. Like, this is going to be an old-fashioned, I would think an old-fashioned slobber knocker type of game, especially on the 2A level.
Yeah, and the benefit is, at least as far as we've heard, it's supposed to be warmer by Friday. You wouldn't think looking outside and being outside. But, yeah, maybe this is a game where if up front is a wash, or at least Adams Central can't dominate the way it typically is this the week where Jamison Roach is let loose? Because he hasn't had to throw as much this year as maybe we expected, because Adams Central's been able to dominate the way they've dominated with the run game. Maybe this is a week where we look back and say, okay, we saw the Jamison Roach and how good he is going vertical because they needed to, because Eastbrook can hang up front. And maybe that's the difference. Maybe we look at Jamison Roach after this week and say, yeah, that is why he is so good, is because when AC just can't run over everybody, he's the catalyst, he's the difference maker behind center.
It feels like the past 5, 6, 7 years we keep saying, they add a little bit more wrinkle to the passing game.
Right.
From year in year, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and maybe this is the year, maybe this is the game where we see it all on display. Well, we saw pretty much every facet of football well played by Adams Central last week in that Eastside game, which we talked about. We had a chance to catch up with the Jets after that game, and here's what they had to say from Minnick Field.
It was tough. We got to come out every week and really execute, stay focused, work hard, keep doing the right things. So, yeah, it was tough.
And what do you feel like you guys really did well? I know you might not have been, as consistent as you would have been, but what do you feel like? What are you proud of this team for?
I mean, everything, keep fighting, coming over that adversity when they scored. I mean, our offense played a great game. Our defense had rough patches, but, that's a great team. They kept fighting, and, we just kept playing.
And now this is, still a step in the right direction. What does this kind of do for you guys next week? What's really the focus next week in practice? What are those things you need to fix?
It's going to be defense, I'll tell you that. It'll be a lot of defense, making sure we get some things shored up there. But then, other than that, we'll just keep on perfecting our craft, because Eastbrook's going to be a good team, and we're just going to come out and practice hard all week.
And just last question, what are you most proud of for this team? It's still, no matter what it went, there's still outcome in a win, still outcome in a sectional championship. What are the biggest things for you?
I think I'm most proud of my cousin for those two defensive scores. That was big, but just keep it on coming out and playing. Started the season slow, I know that, and I think we've really built a great name for ourselves in the senior class, and I'm just really proud of us for overcoming that and making a name for ourselves.
It's really cool. We worked hard for it. We got our goal done, and we just got to make new goals and keep working.
And I heard Coach say he's so proud of you guys. What do you feel like you're really most proud of when it comes to this team?
I'm proud of our camaraderie. We're all a team. We're all family. We've known each other for forever, and we have fun with each other.
And now just a step in, the rest of postseason. Kind of, how does this step help you forward? Kind of, what does that look like momentum-wise for you guys?
A win is a win, and it wasn't pretty at some times, but we just got to keep moving.
And I know, kind of just what you mentioned, even if it wasn't pretty at times, how do you really still keep this train on the tracks, keep everybody, stable on the ground, keep going when, things do get kind of chippy there? How do you keep going through that adversity?
We just got to calm down, just be level-headed. Just everybody, if one person gets mad, another one's going to calm them down.
Well, hey, we beat two really good teams to get here, Bluffton and Eastside, and well-coached teams. We knew that we had to come out tonight against Eastside and play hard because they're physical, they're tough, extremely well-coached. We respect the heck out of them, and I was really proud of how our guys were coming out here pretty fast and jump up on them. But of course, I think we were. I don't think we let up. But you have to continue to play hard against Eastside because they're not going to quit. Those kids just continued to play hard and make plays, and fortunately we were able to. Once they had a big play, we were able to counter and counter their score. But I'm very proud of our guys. They did an outstanding job. It's so difficult to get a sectional, and for us to come out on top I'm really excited about that.
All right, Coach. Well, sorry, I'm switching how I hold this. This thing is Hirschmarm. Okay, so just mentioned even just up and down game there. How do you really, keep everybody on the ground? Keep everybody. Hey, we can still push forward. They're going to score. It's a game of football. How do you really keep this team here?
That's the game of football. We're going to be intense as coaches, and we're going to want perfection all the time, and it just doesn't happen. The game of football has those ups and downs, and we knew going into halftime we were up 25-0. That means nothing because Eastside's going to come back. They're not going to quit, and they're going to continue to play hard. So we just have to be able to keep our heads, not allow them to take advantage of the momentum. And I thought our offense did a really good job of maintaining that momentum, getting that momentum back after they took it, to keep scoring and keep driving. And then we had finally made some big plays on defense. So I was really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just my last question. Just another step towards the right direction in the postseason. Kind of, how do you use tonight, go into next week, and use that momentum into next Friday? Kind of, what's that attitude like?
Yeah, good question. It's one game at a time. We don't look ahead. We know we have tough competition ahead. Sounds like Eastbrook had defeated Eastern, so they're going to be a huge challenge for us. We scrimmage them in the summer, so we know each other a little bit, but hard-nosed football team, tough football team. So we just got to continue to come out and practice hard every day, get our, study hard and work hard and get it done.
You heard him, 25-0. Means nothing.
Means nothing.
Halftime. I was like, I think everybody in the state would take that.
Yeah.
At
I'd
this
be the
level.
jerk in the locker room going, well, it means something. We're up 25-0, coach.
Yeah, we've heard pretty good last 24 minutes. Just 8 miles down the road, you got South Adams now. We're talking about 1A. South Adams with a big victory last week against Hagerstown, coming up here and playing in Bern. Now they hit the road to take on North Miami. I think I might have said they were in the TRC. Used to be in the TRC.
Used to be.
Now in the Hoosier North Conference. I know. I know. I was like, I missed it.
Is that real?
It is. And they actually have some pretty decent teams in there. But when you take a look at this team, like offensively, they're averaging 39 points a game. But, in the postseason, they've taken on Northfield, Southwood, and Fremont. Three teams that have had varying levels of success. Fremont was the best of those 3 teams that they faced, who had a great season this year. How do you see this one playing out? Because we're kind of talking off camera, like, I don't see a lot of teams that can really hang with South Adams in the 1A half of this state at this point in the year.
Yeah, first of all, credit to North Miami, because I think that score against Fremont maybe caught us off guard. We felt like maybe Fremont's got a shot. These are both run-heavy teams, so congratulations to the Warriors for thoroughly dominating the Eagles. But you look at what South Adams does well, and you look at what's left in the 1A North, and you're like, oh, who's matching up? Who can slow that offense down enough to have a chance? And you look at North Miami, very run-heavy, and you say, can they control the football? Can they grind it out? And it's coach speak for one game at a time, and you can't look ahead. And it's totally true. But at the same time, we have the luxury of looking ahead and say, if South Adams plays to its potential offensively and doesn't shoot itself in the foot, there's nobody that can beat this team in the North in 1A. Until we get to state, right, and see what's on in the South. That's just fair. I mean, we have to go out and play the games, and you never know with teenagers and stuff what can happen. But if you look at anybody's road left in the postseason among area teams, South Adams is the one you look at and say, they should be playing Thanksgiving weekend. And Grant Mosier is not going to be very happy with me saying that, but it's the truth.
Hey, it's nicer to be an underdog. Isn't it? Like, it's
Right?
easier to motivate as a kid. But like, if you're playing South Adams, you say, well, we got to take away Wesley Somerset. Easier said than done, right? But then you have Derek McCain. Then you have Will Patterson coming out of the backfield. You have Jax Warner. Like, it isn't just as easy as taking one guy away, as hard as that may be in itself.
And if anything, if you take all those away, Titus Lehman could just take off and run.
That's true.
So it's like, you pick your poison. And that's the problem when you look at matchups in Class 1A for a team that's like South Adams, is that they have so many weapons. It's like, you're going to have to match them score for score if you're going to be able to beat them. And at least for North Miami, I just don't think they have the amount of firepower they need.
Let's talk a little bit about Bishop Luers. When you take a look at the Bishop Luers Knights,
yes,
what do you like about this team as we go into 3A? They head to Twin Lakes. I mean, they have had, if you look at road games and the opponents that they played on the road, they might have had one of the tougher schedules in our area simply because of those road trips. So they're going to Twin Lakes this week. It's a team coached by Kevin O'Shea. If you follow Indiana high school football, or his time down in Muncie with the Delta Eagles, they love to throw the football, and their quarterback has thrown for over 2,500 yards this year. So with this Bishop Luers team, though, it feels like they're getting a little more comfortable with Tommy Reichert at quarterback. He stepped up and made some more plays. How do you see this one playing playing out. I mean, it's a fairly long trip to Twin Lakes next Friday, or this Friday.
Yeah, it is. When you look at Bishop Luers, the expectation within that program was like, okay, the struggles offensively that we're having the majority of the season, the goal is to get all those straightened out and be playing our best offensive football in the playoffs. And that's what Bishop Luers has done. And you mentioned Tommy Reichert and looking very comfortable. And that running game has gotten going with TJ Epperson and Brandon Gaither. And the defense has done its job. It just felt like one of those years, and I admit that I underrated Bishop Luers heading into the playoffs, is it just another one of those years where Bishop Luers, and they've gotten so good, of we're going to take our lumps in the regular season. We're going to lose a fair amount of games in the regular season, but our season starts in late October. And it's another case of Bishop Luers peaking at the right time, keeping the confidence going in the regular season despite facing some adversity, staying together, and now it's paying off.
The defensive line, you saw Jaron Taylor there just with the sack, but to hold Mississinawa to 10 points last week, what can you say about this team where it's kind of gelled defensively at this point in the postseason?
It's been very impressive because we knew all along what they had along the defensive front, anchored by Jaron and A.L. Taylor. But the linebackers have improved. I think the secondary that at the beginning of the season was very, very inexperienced has come along nicely. Even playing the run, just the safeties being able to be confident in running downhill and playing well. That was a very, very inexperienced secondary. I mean, you had Mikhail Woodson and a bunch of dudes that were trying to find their way early in the season, right? And now they're just playing with confidence. And it's just innate with Bishop Luers. If you can get the kids to buy in and say, look, once we get into the playoffs, we're going to see nothing that we haven't already seen this season. And it's definitely the case for Bishop Luers.
I want to talk about a 3A matchup because if you were to pick some of these teams, you'd think, okay, Adams Central being alive at this point in the postseason, even Luers being alive at this point in the postseason, South Adams, Dwenger. I don't know that people would pick Angola.
How about them Hornets?
They're probably our most surprising team that's still alive. First sectional title since 2018 after beating Garrett at their place in a wild finish.
Sure.
What are the Hornets doing well that's allowed them to get here? Because you took a look at that. You took a look at the bracket before this sectional started. I just don't think many people thought the Hornets were going to be the team to come out of there.
Especially the path they had, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to play Tippecanoe Valley. Your reward is having to play West Noble. You have to beat those teams just to get to the final. And do you have any gas left at the end? And Garrett did a tremendous job challenging Angola. But once again, the Hornets, when it matters, late in the game, make the plays and get the win. And you wonder now, okay, now that you're in regionals, is what do you have left in the tank? That was kind of my thought last week against Garrett. And so now you have to go to Knox. And you have to figure out, okay, they're not slowing down the running back.
Miles McLaughlin.
I mean, they're not slowing down Miles McLaughlin, okay? So what can you do? Miles McLaughlin's going to get his, Indiana's leading rusher all time. That's going to keep you in the game. You have to score points in this game, and that's going to be the challenge for Angola. You can't go in there and say, okay, we're going to slow down Miles McLaughlin, because that's just not happening. Right?
No one's been able to do it.
Nobody's doing that.
I mean, literally, no one's been able to do it. I think this is a case of, to your point, is it a case where you maybe start off with like an onside kick? Like your best defense against Miles McLaughlin is making sure he doesn't have the football.
Right.
Like, get a turnover here or there, or, try an onside kick, or just, 3 yards on a cloud of dust. Move the ball down the field. Don't throw a lot of incomplete passes. Even if they're just short 5-6 yard gains, keep the chains moving, eat up 6-7 minutes of the clock in a quarter and just keep the ball away from them. Don't give them any opportunities.
And,
easier said than done.
Right. But I've said it before, you're playing with house money. So if you're Coach Andy Thomas, you're saying, okay, other than if we're inside our own 30, we're not punting. We're just going, or if it's 4th and forever, like we're not punting. Because we know, conversely, Knox is just going to give it to Miles McLaughlin, and he's going to either run it down our throat or slowly work it down the field. So to me, is, okay, onside kicks, we're not punting unless we're deep in our own territory. At this point, you have a sectional championship in the bag that pretty much not many people gave you a chance to win. At this point, just go out and throw it all on the table. See if you can shock Knox at this point.
Speaking of throwing it all on the table, the Bishop Dwenger defense. Wow.
Man, oh man.
Wow. 32-0 over an East Noble team that came in ranked number 1 in the state. I know East Noble was banged up, and they're not going to use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Banged up in the trenches, banged up with some of their best players, but just an impressive performance by Bishop Dwenger, who now turns and hits the road to take on Lebanon. What's impressed you about Bishop Dwenger, aside from that defense, or just was it everything that was working last week? Because special teams offense looked pretty good at times.
Sure.
It was a full, complete performance, but it starts with the defense.
It does, and if you would have asked me this time last week, are they going to keep Riley Biddle off the scoreboard, I would say no. He's going to get 1, maybe 2. I mean, it's not going to be a 30-point blowout in this game, or at least shutting out East Noble. So what Bishop Dwenger was able to do is just thorough domination. I mean, East Noble's not going to use injuries as an excuse. They may have some fans that want to use that excuse, and turnabout is fair play, because this time last year we were looking at Bishop Dwenger getting trounced in the playoffs and going, wow. And Bishop Dwenger wasn't blaming injuries at that point either. So now all of a sudden you're looking at Bishop Dwenger and maybe I'm just late to the party is going, well, who's going to score against this defense in the North at this point? I mean, you're kind of looking at it going, maybe they can get all the way to state. I mean,
I think you're fashionably
defense,
late, fashionably late.
Maybe I was in denial. I mean, I was kind of like that with Bishop Lewis. Is now you look at Dwenger and go, because Riley Biddle, you felt like Riley Biddle was going to be able to put up some points because he's been able to put some points up anyway. But gosh, well, Bishop Dwenger, H.A. Shefferly, 3 touchdown runs. I mean, it was a dominant performance. East Noble could have been fully healthy in this game. They still lose by 20 plus, in my opinion.
Yeah, here's what the Saints had to say after that big victory at Shields Field on Friday night.
Feels great. Our whole senior class been waiting for this moment since sophomore year. Most of us been starting or playing since sophomore year, and we've never really been able to get over this hump. But just to win a sectional championship feels great. Not done yet, though.
And what did the team do really well here today?
We were able to move the ball on offense great. O-line played a hell of a game. I just had to run behind them and make a good read, and then we were good.
And what was the mindset going into today's game?
We just won it. We won it more than anybody, I think. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time. And I think that we're going into practice this week knowing that we couldn't make any mistakes against a good team like them, and we were able to execute really well.
It feels great. Last year they came in here 38-0 and just revenge tonight.
And what did the team do really well here tonight?
We just really locked in at practice all week, and our offense got moving, so that was nice. And our defense, per usual, always good.
And what was the mindset going into tonight's game?
We're not losing here again.
Perfect. And what some things the team can work on moving forward?
Just better communication in general. Offense, just keeping their head up and, just working on fixing little mistakes. That's it.
Well, it's great for me. I'm just so happy for our guys. They've worked so hard last 2 years. Praying the Lord would, allow the process to do what the process is supposed to do. And I tell you what, we put all 3 facets together tonight, and gosh, you played outstanding. So proud of the coaching staff, all they did. It's for the whole BD community. Got a sectional, and we get another week together, and go try to win a regional.
What did the team do really well here tonight?
Well, I just think, all week it was about discipline and preparation. It's the most prepared we've ever been. The most disciplined we've played. We were super physical, locked in. It comes down to attitude and will sometimes in these games, and these guys brought it tonight. Starting with our seniors and our captains, they led the way. So.
All right, so Bishop Dwenger hits the road to face Lebanon, who beat Logansport. A little bit of a surprise there, I think, this past week. While we transition to our final game in 6A, it is Carroll at Penn. And you take a look at Carroll's performance against Northrop. You feel pretty good about it. Penn's, I don't know that much about Penn's team this year, but I do know their history and all the times that we've seen them play teams from area. Just one of the premier programs in the northern half of the state when it comes to, historically speaking, their high school football program. How do you see this one playing out, and what can Carroll take away from Northrop? Because we hadn't seen Carroll run the ball as well as they did against Northrop all season.
And that was a shock, I think, to a lot of people, especially Northrop, because they felt like, okay, we get to Gabe Freisinger, we rattle him, maybe get a couple picks. Instead, Carroll comes out and rushes the ball for 320 some yards in that game, and really impressive performance. I don't think Jane Van Pelt had a catch in that game. So now you have to go to Penn. So undefeated Penn, led by Marcus Freeman, his son, who's a senior defensive back.
Does he know anything about football?
He knows a little
Maybe
bit.
a little?
Marcus Freeman was on the sideline last Friday against Crown Point, and that win for the Kingsmen. This is the thing when you're in 6A, is after you get past sectionals, it's really a crapshoot, right? Like you have to play perfect football in 6A to advance. And this is where Carroll is at. What they were able to do several years ago to get to the state championship, play perfect football. They have to play perfect football at Penn. And even then, it may not be enough.
I was going to say, I don't know that much about Penn, but I was looking through the numbers. This is a team that averages 42 points a game and gives up 10.
And they're not in a slouch league, okay? So they're
Right.
playing good teams, so, up in the region. So this is a very much challenging, the biggest challenge, Carroll, all due respect to playing Center Grove and HSE. I think Penn's better than both of them, and they have to go to Penn on Friday.
The Rhodes kid has emerged as the running back,
Yeah.
and Wagner is kind of like the battering ram, if you will,
Right.
especially near the goal line. But having that and Gabe Freisinger in the running game, Freisinger had a couple of short quarterback keepers for touchdowns early in that game to help Carroll get out to a lead that they would never relinquish.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say that the running game is better, it isn't just one guy, and that's kind of
Sure.
the thing that makes it a little scary, I would think, if you're an opponent.
Yeah, it does, and I think you also build that confidence being able to run the ball on the ground. Last week against a quality opponent in Northrop. Now we're not looking at Carroll and say, okay, it's on Gabe Freisinger's shoulders, period, in this team being able to advance. Now you can fall back and say, hey, maybe we can control the clock a little bit. Maybe we can move the chains a little bit against Penn and keep the ball away from them. And then when we need to, we go vertical, or you use the pass to set up the run and vice versa. So maybe more offensive options than earlier in the season we felt like Carroll, and they're going to need every single one of those options on Friday. And then that's not to discount the defense's job. They're really going to have to play extremely well.
We chatted with the Chargers after the win against Northrop, and here's what they had to say.
For this team, where you guys started in August to where you are now, just what can you say about the overall growth of this team to win a championship?
Man, it's just been a grind, practice every day. Our O-line really stepped up a lot today, helped us run the ball. That's really what got us the win today. Our scheme, our prep going into this game was to run the ball. Our O-line executed, our running back did great today, and just got to give all credit to them.
I was going to say, what was the biggest difference? Because the running game, it's been a work in progress all season, but this was by far the best performance you have seen all season from the running game.
Yeah, honestly, honestly, you can't say any better than that. We just went out there, dominated the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. Defense gave us it right back to us, and, won because of it.
Another sectional championship for Carroll, the 4th in 5 seasons. A lot of different guys stepping up into big roles this season. Just where has this team grown the most from August till now to get to the point where you're bringing home another championship?
Man, yeah, we're just so close. Every single practice, we're going back and forth, the offense and defense, and we just get better every single week. I love to see my guys. All my guys have gotten better throughout the year. Guys have stepped up. Guys have went down, and other guys have stepped up. So it's been a huge role. Everyone got each other's back in the locker room, and we're so close, and that's what makes us so good.
Coach Steinen talked a lot about getting a ball control offense rolling tonight. This was by far the best running game we've seen this season for this Carroll offense. What was the biggest key to making sure you guys were controlling the game in the running game?
Yeah, just dominate the line of scrimmage from the get-go, That was our game plan coming in, and that's what we did, and they couldn't stop it. So that's what we go by. That's Carroll football, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
The easy answer is you got to be able to run the football, and our offensive line has continued to grow. Jackson Rhodes, Asher Wagner did a tremendous job carrying the football, taking care of the football. We had a little mishap there early. It was, a little crossover, and the ball didn't exchange the quarterback to the running back. But that happens. That's part of it. Our defense was outstanding. We put in a few extra things, a few extra wrinkles, because, like I said, they're electric. They're very good. You have to know where number 8 is, number 2 is all the time. David Callison threw the ball extremely well. So our hat's off to Northrop, but our kids answered.
I was going to say defensively, you talked a lot about that. Just knowing the talent that was on the other side of the field, you guys get those timely takeaways to keep you guys at arm's length. Just what can you say about the defense and just their job playing complementary football?
Well, absolutely. They did what we asked them to do. Like I said, we threw a little bit of an extra wrinkle scheme to them. and they answered, and they handled it. They handled it, and and they created turnovers. Key turnovers. That were down in the red zone, scoring opportunities for them. But again, I mean, it's guys like this guy right here, number 10. That carried the football and that really moved the ball and continued to move the sticks. And and hats off to both sides of the ball. Our kids answered really well. Proud of our seniors, proud of the kids in the program.
All right, so Carroll goes on the road. To wrap things up, we got about 30 seconds. What are you most looking forward to about these 6 games this week?
Who can go on the road, be road warriors against quality teams, get a win, and then hopefully, knock on wood, they can get a home game with semi-state with a trip to the state championship on the line.
You have set it into existence. We need home games next week. So victories on the road, home games next week for semi-state. We'll be here to talk about it. He's Justin, I'm Glenn, and we'll see you next Monday here on Inside the Zone.
You're watching Inside the Zone.